You know, it's been a while since we've had a nice soaking of rain here,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
been a
I was
while.
gonna say it's been like 7 days, but
Since you could hold your head up high.
Stop it. It has been, however, a while since I've thought about that ridiculous journey that you two let me go on with Pokemon a few years back.
I was just thinking about that earlier today too.
when you played basically every Pokemon back to back. I mean, you didn't play everyone. You played.
I didn't play the sicko Pokemon games that you play, but I played a lot of the mainline. I played every mainline Pokemon that had been out at that time up until
Or some variation of it.
Right. You played
Yeah.
you played the newest version of every
major
gen.
Pokemon release, major mainline Pokemon release.
Yeah. Well, you didn't play Red and then Fire Red. You just played Fire Red.
Yeah. But that was also after a damn near 20-year gap of only playing the original one and going into it. And so today, as I was reading some of the Pokemon news that we're going to talk about later on, I was just like really thinking about, you assholes let me just go down a rabbit hole that was not healthy.
There's another podcast that I listen to, and one of the hosts there has kind of been getting into Pokemon, and then like dipped a toe in and was like, yeah, this is okay. I mean, I get it. I get what people are saying about it. And then like the next week is like, yeah, I'm in a Pokemon hole, and like he's just been going back to back to back on these. And he was tweeting today about, man, I remember when I didn't have to give a shit when the Game Freak showed off some Pokemon trailer stuff, and now that I have to be like you people. Except I'm also 30, and it feels weird.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm excited to talk a little bit more with you two tonight about what I'm excited about with Pokemon. And for those of you who are just tuning in, you've found the casual hour. We ostensibly talk about video games, but mostly about Pokemon, it seems like. I'm Bobby.
Pokemon's a video game.
Pokemon is a video game. It's a good one. Chase Kinnicky, the gamer on the go, is here. Chase, how you doing?
Great.
And
always.
Johnny Amazich, how are you?
Hello. I'm doing well, Bobby. Thank you for asking.
We have got a What You've Been Playing episode to get through tonight, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to tell you a little bit about some SD Gundam Battle Alliance. We're going to talk about that new Digimon Survive.
Yeah.
We're going to cover Power Wash Simulator, Bear and Breakfast, and some Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and maybe a little multiverses. But as we've been teasing, we're going to cover some of that Pokemon Presents news that dropped.
Out of the presses.
Like this morning sometime, right?
8 a.m.
8 a.m., baby. So buckle up, get cozy, grab a drink. You've found the Casual Hour After Dark, which is going to be a great time. Chase, I would love to know, is SD Gundam Battle Alliance the way to go?
Yeah, I think you're putting commas in the weirdest of spots when you're saying that game title. But
he was just doing his best William Shatner.
I was also just trying to understand, like, why do these mech games that you love have to be a mouthful? Like, why can't they just say, like, hey, here's another one? Or, like, Super Robot Wars is okay, but then they get really...
Yeah.
Would you prefer...
It's like the Robot War is super, and we made 30.
Yeah. Would you prefer Super Deformed Gundam Battle Alliance demo? Because that would be the actual name.
He wants fewer words.
Fewer words, Johnny.
I get it. I mean, it's no SD Gundam G Generation Genesis. That's something.
Well,
better than that.
What so this demo came out and you played this on PlayStation, right?
I did. Currently the demo is out on PlayStation and Xbox. Bandai Namco tweeted just today. Bandai Namco US specifically tweeted today, "Hey, are you ready for SD Gundam Battle Alliance? The demo is on PC, Switch, PS4, or PlayStation and Xbox." And immediately I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll try it again on Switch and see if that works. No, it's still not there. They're just lying. They're just lying to us now.
Okay.
what can you do? I mean, the game will be out. It'll come out on the thing, but they just keep saying, "Hey, the demo's out," and it's not. It's just never out.
Dang.
To be fair, it's out in Japan, so I could use my Japanese eShop to download it. I don't know if that'll be in English.
Just do that,
or if that'll even transfer over to the main game.
This is there's been so many of these that have kind of been popping up for playtests and all that. Can you just remind me really quick which one this is?
This is the 3-person action game with the super deformed Gundams. And I don't know if it's coming up on the mic, but it's a little bit rainy here.
Yeah, I was gonna do like just a quick little PSA for anybody watching live with us. Here in the good old Midwest, we're having one of those. I mean, famously
you've
Midwest.
Probably seen it. There's some lightning going on.
Yeah, we've got quite a Midwestern storm brewing right now. So my power usually does a pretty good job, but in the event that my power goes out, the stream goes down. Apologies, but for the time being, we're Lieutenant Dan in this storm.
Sure. I mean, let's just talk about as much Gundam as we can until Mother Nature stops us.
We don't want to curse anybody, Chase. We're trying to keep things going the way they need to.
Okay, SD Gundam Battle Alliance is the 3-character action game using the small chibi looking Gundams. Yep. They're not quite chibi. They are these SD super deformed.
They're chibi adjacent.
There you go. I'm with you there. They're definitely a weird scale, but it's an action game, which is weird because the games in this kind of franchise before have been turn-based strategy games. So I'm kind of interested in trying this and seeing what it was. So even though I don't want to play this on PlayStation when it comes out fully, that was the place that I had a chance to play the demo. So that's the one I did. I played through all of the demo. It gives you, I think, like 3 or 4 areas, and then you redo those areas a couple different times in the missions. And it's okay. I think it's actually pretty cool. All of the different mechs that you can pilot, and there are a lot of different mechs. Not that many in the demo, but there will be a lot of different Gundams and enemy suits that you can pilot. All of them break down into 3 different categories. There is a range one that it focuses on using projectiles. There's an in-fighter, they call it, that is kind of up close and personal melee stuff. And there's all-arounders that do kind of both. Nice. And all the different machines will fall into one of those 3 categories, and you can basically take any mech you want and upgrade them as much as you want, and they're all somewhat on par with each other as you play. Now, there will be differences in the different kinds of moves that they can do, or their different arsenals. Everybody's kind of got 3 special moves that they can do, and then everyone also has a unique super move of some sort. So if you have
a good super move,
so like one of the first suits they give you is the original Zaku 2, and it's a grunt enemy suit, and it has like the grenade that it can throw. It has a bazooka that it can shoot, and then it has the machine gun that it can go. Those are its 3 kind of specialty moves that take ammo and are on slight cooldowns. It can always do melee stuff with its axe. It can always guard, but then it has a super move as well where it kind of does this 3 axe slash. And can do a decent amount of damage. So that makes that unit slightly unique from all the other ones in the things that it can do. But
neat.
Go ahead, Bob.
I was gonna say it sounds neat. Is it not to always like draw it back, but like 3-player ultimates, charging stuff up? Any Destiny vibes you're getting from it at all? Like just on like the synergies that you could get with like other classes, or not really?
I mean, I don't know if there's. I wouldn't call it synergy as much. It's not like somebody's doing a support thing or a healer thing. Everybody can heal. Everybody can pick up other players. It's not so much like we're doing combos where somebody is doing a debuff to the enemy and then the other guys are doing extra stuff. It's more just everyone's flying around and they're all doing stuff together. I suppose you could kind of chain moves together, but it's not so strategic in that way that you're piling on buffs and debuffs. It's it's still coming down quite a bit outside.
It's loud.
But it's kind of cool. Like, you'll always have three units in there. If you're playing alone, it'll just have 2 computer controlled units, and as you play with those same computer controlled units, they'll gain more affinity, and I guess they perform better, or maybe their stats get a little higher.
Does it have drop in, drop out, like matchmaking that you could use?
Matchmaking, no, I don't believe so. I wonder if you were doing multiplayer, if that could be drop in, drop out. I'm not sure. I don't even know if multiplayer is actually in the demo. But the parts that I played were kind of cool. You're going around these interesting environments. There's a desert one that's kind of boring, but then there are some cities and some verticality with some valleys and some bridges that you're kind of jumping up and down from. I think it's kind of neat, and I think it controls pretty well. The controls are pretty snappy. I had a pretty decent time with it. You didn't really get enough time to really do anything. Your progress does transfer over to the main game if you do play this demo, but you're not going to get all that far.
Got it.
But I think it's kind of cool.
Should I download this?
Playing with a few different. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the demo's free. I would encourage everybody to just give it a shot. Bobby has promised a long time ago. I'm not going to hold him to that promise, but he has shown some slight interest in trying this as a three-person
I think it
game.
could be something that the 3 of us do on stream too. Like, that could be absolutely something we do.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to play it because it's a Gundam game, and it's not as fiddly as Battle Operation 2.
There's not a PC demo, right? Or is there?
I don't see one in Steam.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the same case as the Switch of, like, there's supposed to be one, and it's just not out yet. This game's coming out the 23rd of this month. So,
we got a little bit of time.
We got some time for a demo.
I'll fire up
there's also pre-order bonuses. But again, the game's not even on the shop. It's a lot like Digimon Survive. Also made by Bandai Namco. Weird. It's almost like stupid bullshit.
It is in Steam. It does have a Steam page. You can pre-purchase the game.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. It's just not on Switch at the moment, which is a bummer.
So Chase, that was the SD Gundam Battle Alliance demo on PS5, right?
I was playing it on PS5. I don't think it's a PS5 specific version.
Okay, so there is a PlayStation 4 also?
Yeah, I think it's just a PS4 version that is running on a PS5.
Neat.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
That's okay. And that demo that I played, at least, came out on the same day as Digimon Survive. So I had a very difficult decision to make of which one did I want to play. I started with Gundam, but then I quickly moved on to Digimon.
Yeah, let's get to the meat and potatoes here. Come on.
Yeah.
You've been wanting
Digimon
this for
Survive,
a while.
This game has been in development hell, I guess, for quite a while. There were rumors that it got scrapped at one point and kind of rebuilt somewhat from the ground up. It's been delayed a number of times. It's gone through a rough patch for sure. But this is the Digimon game that kind of combines a visual novel with a turn-based strategy game.
Okay.
And I like turn-based strategy games, and I have dabbled in visual novels. So I was kind of up for this. I really wanted to see what this thing was. It had a real XCOM look to it, in terms of how the battles looked, and it was like, all right, I like that. Let's try it out. It's really interesting. You both have asked me a couple times over the course of this last week. How are you liking it? You're been showing curiosity.
It's one of, if not the game you're looking forward to playing the most this year, right?
Yeah, I think it was a most anticipated one of those last couple of years.
I was honestly, the ingredients that you were discussing had me like content. If you would have been like gushing over this when I asked you, I probably would have considered picking it up.
Yeah. I'm not gushing. I like this game, but I think it has a lot of problems, and I think it has a lot of problems.
Because I know that you were really looking forward to this.
Yeah. I mean, they're problems that I am willing to put up with, but I'm pretty sure these are not problems. These are issues that you guys would.
If you're a sicko, you'll put up with it.
Yeah,
but if you're not a sicko, don't touch
comic.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Yes. So let's get into some of the problems here. I think it's a little heavy on the visual novel. I was hoping it'd be a little more 50-50. It's probably a little bit more 70-30, maybe even 80-20.
Oh no.
There's a lot of writing in this. I don't think it's a particularly good visual novel though, because you really are just going through the motions. It gives you some choices that don't really affect much of anything. Sometimes it'll give you options that kind of like, so you guys have both played Mass Effect, that, hey, the upper right options are usually the more what's the Paragon, thank you.
Yeah.
Usually the more Paragon stuff. The stuff in the bottom right is more of the negative, the Renegade stuff. And this game has its moral, wrathfulness, and harmony are their kind of three routes, and I guess they say it's supposed to affect the way that your main Digimon can evolve as it goes on. You start off with the Agumon, who's like a little yellow dinosaur guy, and depending on what route you have more points into, it's supposed to affect its the way it evolves. I'm about 30-ish hours into this game so far, and I think there's really just one canonical way this thing evolves, at least to start with, and I haven't seen any way to evolve it in any of the other different things.
That's like the little, like orange T-Rex looking thing, right?
So yeah. Agumon's like the little yellowy orange guy.
Yeah.
If you watch the Digimon anime, you'd think, okay, this thing's going to turn into Greymon, because that's the canonical thing that it turns into. It can turn into 3 different things. And the canonical one they show you first is a red dinosaur thing called Tyrannomon. And you're like, okay, yeah, I know this guy, but it's not fucking Greymon. Like, Greymon's the one I'm looking for, which apparently he can evolve into. I have not done the things that will allow him to do that, and I don't think at this point in the story, again, 30 hours in.
Oh my god!
That's nuts.
Also, to be fair, I have not been mainlining the visual novel stuff because there's just so much of it that I've been playing a bunch of side battles, and I'll get into the side battles here in a second. But yeah, I think the visual novel is just kind of boring in that you don't have a lot of options that make any differences. You choose a moral option or a wrathfulness option or a harmony option, and the game just kind of shrugs its shoulders and goes, okay, well, we'll keep telling our story, but I'm glad you made that choice. And it doesn't really change anything that I've seen. Occasionally you can have there'll be a couple options that you can choose with when you're talking to another main character. And if you choose the right option, your affinity with that character will go up, which can have a couple of benefits in battles if that you have greater affinity with your other party members, a little bit like Persona Social Links. But again, it doesn't change the story. It's not like if I build up enough affinity with somebody, they're gonna, be my girlfriend, or they're going to now we're gonna make an alliance or anything like that. None of that stuff happens. It just, again, continues telling its story, except, now you have affinity rank 2 with this person. That part's just kind of lame. Also, it just has a lot of repeated dialogue in there that you get to these situations where it says, hey, you should talk with everybody. And you go around and you talk to everybody, and they all kind of say the same thing in a slightly different way.
Okay, I was going to ask if it's like at least slightly different dialogue.
I mean, it is, but also the writing in this game ain't that great. The localization is kind of rough. I mean, there's a pretty big meme that just showed up. I put it in our thing here, so you guys could see it. I know people listening to it can't see it, but there's this point in the game where Takuma, who's the main character, he's in front of this Digimon here, and the line written here says, "Takuma's portrait and name are not shown for this line," which is a localization note that nobody implemented and did not put in the actual line where this line is supposed to be. That apparently is like an early version that I have not gotten to this point in the game. Some people I've seen on Twitter said they have gotten to this point and the line did not show up for them like that. But it's definitely gone around, and it's pretty damning of how dumb that is.
Man,
that got left in. So that's kind of silly. But I think it's more just pointing to the bigger problem of I just don't think this game is localized all that well. So there's some spelling mistakes, there's some grammar stuff, some lines that just they're not really cohesive. Now, they kind of just contradict each other. It's very I
have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Historically, because I know they've been making Digimon games for a long time. Like historically,
yeah,
how well do they perform in the West? Like, do they have a dedicated fan base?
Sales-wise? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I know the Digimon World games, which I haven't played. I don't think any of them.
There's a lot of sickos over here in the West, Johnny.
That's you're telling me.
It's true. It's true. Digimon was a very popular anime where you had kids who were certainly watching Pokemon, but then Digimon felt like this slightly more grown-up thing, even though it was just as kiddie as Pokemon ever was. But I think a lot of kids, myself included, deluded themselves into thinking like, oh, Digimon's like the cool one, and Pokemon's the one that everybody likes. So you definitely have some pretty hardcore Digimon fans over here that play a lot of these games. I really fell back in love with Digimon when that Cyber Sleuth game came out because it felt a lot like Persona Light, but it had a lot of Persona qualities to it that I found pretty cool.
So if I were to say, Chase, I've never played a Digimon game, I would really like to try one. Would you say you should buy Cyber Sleuth?
I think I would. I think Cyber Sleuth is the easier game to get into, and it has its own lore that's going on where you don't really need to know anything about Digimon. I mean, you don't need to know anything about Digimon to play this game either, but I just think Cyber Sleuth's a better game than this.
My question is, at 30 hours in, are you going to continue on?
Yeah, I am, because there are parts of this game that I enjoy. Sorry, I gotta back up a little bit and keep telling you more about just the game. So that's all the visual novel stuff, and I think we can put the visual novel stuff to bed. There's just a lot of it, and it's not really well written. It doesn't really function all that well, but it's there, and it's the big chunk of the game. There are also exploration parts where you can look around and find items. There's another part where you have to like hold your phone up, your not your physical phone, but hold up like your in-game phone, and you can find weird digital glitches that are happening. And when you search those glitches, you'll find more other items or even battles in there. It's just kind of. It's also very clunky. This game is just very clunky. And I think that's my biggest problem with it, is that it feels like there's a lot of time wasted clicking things and waiting for things to happen, that really we should just be able to chew through some of this shit. So also in these exploration times, you can go to all these different places and you can talk to people, but then there's always an option at the bottom that's a free battle in these different places. And the free battles will let you fight a couple of Digimon, and those Digimon you can also talk to. This is how you gain new Digimon. You don't capture anything like Pokemon games. You don't collect enough data like you do in the Cyber Sleuth games, that I think is actually a pretty good system for getting Digimon. The more times you fight a similar Digimon, the more you gain its data, and then you can make a copy of it for yourself. I think that's a cool way of doing this. This game does the Shin Megami Tensei. I can't remember which one does this. I think a lot of them do. not Persona, but where you talk to the different demons and you can recruit them to your squad if you say the right things. I hate this system. I've always hated this system. I don't like it in SMT games. It just feels like a guessing game or something that you just look up a guide for. And Digimon Survive, it's absolutely no different. It's so mindless that you're given 4 options every time they say something and you're supposed to respond to it, and there's no cohesion. There's no it's not even a thing of like, this Digimon likes it when you yell at them, and you should always choose the option that's mean and yells at them. Like it's not even that good. It's just that you kind of just say random things, and eventually you'll get its gauge up high enough where you can say, "Hey, you should be my friend," and then it'll roll a die on whether or not it says yes. I've been just looking up the guides to know exactly what to say for each Digimon. It's not fun, and then even when you do it, sometimes they'll show it on screen. Like sometimes it's a 58% chance to get this one to be your friend. If you've said everything right, it's still a 58% chance. But most of them hover around the 20% range. Yeah, but most of them hover around the 20% range, which means even though you're doing everything right, you're probably not getting this Digimon that you want, and that part sucks.
Damn.
And then there are the battles themselves. This the final part of the game is the actual turn-based strategy, and it's fine-ish. It does one of the cardinal sins of turn-based strategy games for me, which is having to choose your fucking direction when you end your turn, which I think just means in all the games that I've played that use this system, it's just a great way for the enemy to go, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just go right behind you and get a critical hit. It makes you turtle up, and it just makes it very slow and painful to do.
I'm not a fan of that either.
It's really boring, and the maps have a little bit of verticality to them, but they don't have any bottlenecks or anything that actually really, like any interesting geometry. It's a lot like Super Robot Wars in that way, where it's just, oh, hey, this is just a big open space, and no matter where you go, somebody's just going to be able to go right on behind you and hit you for something. So there's no real strategy to it. It's just kind of throwing your mons against their mons, and whoever wins. But it's also just really slow.
May the best mon win.
Thank you. Yes. But it's also really slow in that it doesn't even have guaranteed counterattacks like a Fire Emblem would. So that takes even more turns.
Even more cardinal
attacking you and waiting, and then now you go around and attack them, and then there's more waiting. And it's slow and plotting. The Digimon don't move very far, at least not at the beginning. Like it's 2 or 3 spaces that they can move. Once you start evolving things, maybe they can get up to 4 or 5 spaces. But it's just
certainly
it's
sounds
just so
like there's
plotty.
more things you're not enjoying than you are enjoying.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think this is a very good game. I think it's an interesting attempt. I think it tries some cool things.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to take a lot of this garbage to see it through, because I do think there's some interesting stuff here, and I would like to see them perfect this in a sequel that may or may not get made, but I kind of hope one gets made, because I think they have something here. It's just they've been pulling all of these ideas from all these different games, and very few of them work very well together.
Okay.
Fair.
I do like evolving Digimon, though. I think that's really cool. I've only gotten 2 items so far that let you do that. Also, something kind of weird, there's all the Digimon you can find in the free battles, and those are kind of static Digimon that you can evolve and they'll stay evolved. But the ones for your main characters, because every main character in your party has their own Digimon companion, those guys digivolve and de-digivolve kind of at will. Like they want them to stay. They want them to stay at their rookie stage, because those are the ones that they've drawn and are going to do all their story stuff for. So it's kind of interesting in that you can choose to digivolve them at strategic times in the battles, and to their credit, you get some bonuses by having them digivolve, but you also get some negative drawbacks where you might go, ooh, I should probably keep them at the rookie stage because that might be useful in this encounter, or I want to save my Digivolution until later in the battle where it might be more handy and I don't burn this thing out by using it early. That stuff's kind of cool. It's just very weird when I have this Digimon over here that is evolved all the time for free, and I have this one that has to kind of go back and forth, and it just kind of doesn't make sense. And sometimes those are the same fucking Digimon. Where it's like, well, I've got this one that's always evolves, that is the same one as this one, except it doesn't evolve. It's very, it's odd. It's just an odd duck.
Well, I'm sure we'll continue to get some updates from you on it.
Yeah, you definitely will. I have found myself as I play this. I know you want me to wrap up, and I want to wrap up as well.
It's a lot of Digimon, man.
It is a lot of Digimon. I found myself saying, you know what? I just kind of want to let this one play. So I've turned it down to the easiest difficulty because I do not like doing the battles. Also, it has auto battles. So I'm at the point where I'm just like, well, it's on the easiest difficulty. Fuck it. Just put it on the auto battle and let them do it.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not enjoying the visual novel that gets me to the battles, and then I'm not enjoying the battles when I get there. What am I playing this for? I think that's a valid question.
Yeah.
And I don't have a good answer for you other than I like Digimon. I like some of the character designs.
Just think
and I think there's something interesting about what they're going for, even if they are generally failing at pretty much every turn.
30 hours played, 30 minutes spoken. That's the Digimon promise.
Sounds about right for me. Anyway.
All right.
Hey, I'm playing new video games for once in my goddamn life. So
I'm happy.
That feels good.
Round of applause for Chase.
Chase talked about SD Gundam Battle Alliance demo on PlayStation and Digimon Survive on the Nintendo Switch. I decided to dust off and clean up my act, and
finally. It was a filthy act.
It was filthy. It needed to be cleaned, and I cleaned it. I think I've talked about this. I know we did a quick look for it. Power Wash Sim is a game that came out entirely this year, and I had not put a lot of time in it outside of the early access path. And they've added just some really great game feel and quality of life and even multiplayer co-op into this, which is really cool. I think you can have up to 4 people all working on projects together, and they've got a really neat career mode that they've developed out with this where you're learning about the people that you're helping on these projects through a series of text messages that come through. But I really just wanted to speak more to the games that we can play when we need like true escapism. And there's a lot of games that we play when we might be going like, hey, I'm going to go do this, and they require a lot of attention, and you're like coming up with strategy and efforts. But there's other things that like you really just want to shut your brain off. And a lot of the times that like I'm playing games nowadays, I'm trying to like take some notes on things that stand out to me so I can be a bit more informed on the show or for like game of the year time. And I mean, I have a lot to say about Power Wash when it comes to like what it's doing well from like a game development and delivery. But
and I think it is one of the better ones of these kind of simulators. I know I don't remember if we did a quick look of it or it was a part of the stream, but we did like a lawnmower simulator as well.
We have that one's just we haven't done lawnmower yet. At least I haven't.
I think we did on like a Steam Next Fest or something. I don't remember.
Maybe.
I thought we did.
Did you?
I thought we did.
That was free. That's free on Epic till the end of today.
I don't think that one's worth it though. I mean, this one I think has enough going.
It's got a lot of it.
It's got the secret sauce.
I think they're doing something cool with it, whereas the other ones that I've seen like this feel a little bit more like cash grab of let's just put the word simulator on it and
totally
some people will buy it. Yeah.
What I have begun doing is, and I know that like we talk about like podcast games a lot. I've always really struggled to put a podcast on when I'm playing a game. Like it's hard for me to do that. Like I really usually like the music that's being played with the game, and I end up like focusing on the wrong things. But this has become something where it's finally clicked for me to put an episode on of a podcast and be cleaning while listening to it, and it works out really well. This game is fantastic. It's on Game Pass. Chase, you and I are going to play this together on Casual Mondays, which I think is really cool, and we're going to test out that multiplayer. And I really enjoyed our quick look because it talked a little bit about like our approach to cleaning certain things, and it tied into the unpacking quick looks that we did in the streams where we talked about like how we organize stuff. But I did start to turn the corner a little bit on like understanding what to upgrade and how to upgrade it, and what kind of soaps you want to be using. And there are some really cool things that you can introduce in that mechanic with it. But Power Wash Sim continues to be just a wild game that if you would have said, hey, you would enjoy a game on power washing, I'd be like, you're probably right, because I enjoy power washing to begin with. And
power washing is pretty good.
So that's kind of my question. Bobby, you own a power washer in the real world.
Yep.
You could listen to a podcast while you used your real life power washer.
Yep.
I get why I would like Power Wash Simulator. I live in an apartment for maybe another month. But I don't also have easy access to a power washer.
Yep.
Shouldn't you just go out and power wash something and have the practicality of doing
two
doing
reasons
it in real
why
life?
I don't. One, I don't have to power wash all the time because most of what I have is cleaned up because I do have a power washer.
Sure. I mean,
two,
you're very tidy.
I power wash quite often actually. Benefit of owning it. It's hot.
Every time I take a shower, it's a power wash.
I hate the heat, so I don't like to be out there laboring in the sun.
You got water right there. It's coming out of a gun.
The other thing is my backyard, and this is really more of the truth, is terrible at draining water. And having 3 dogs, when there's a lot of muck and stuff in the backyard from power washing, it just does even more work on the inside. So
you have to power wash the inside of your house.
Yes, true. So
there
Power Wash
all right, now we're talking.
Is out of early access. It has been for a little bit now. But it did recently come to Game Pass, and I cannot think of a better game recently that's hit that service for people to check out. Like, it might seem like a weird, I think Simulator kind of turns people off from things, and I think this makes it a little bit more approachable.
But there's a zen-like state that you can reach when you're playing this game, and you're just focusing on the task at hand, and you're just trying to get that sidewalk clean, get those.
And it's also just a lighter, more comfortable experience than something that would be in the same wheelhouse, like a Hard Space Shipbreaker. Like, that game is also
very zen,
kind of menial task kind of simulation game, except in that one you can crack open your visor and die. Exactly. Power Wash Simulator, I don't think there's a way for you to kill yourself.
No. I don't remember if this was in the game whenever we quick looked at. The last thing I'll call out, because I think it's really cool. As you wrap up your job, when you get near the end, it will give you 3 items that are still left before you can get to 100%. And they've got the show dirt button you can press where it flashes the dirt red. But at the end of the clean, if you get 100%, it creates a GIF that you can watch of yourself cleaning, and
it's like a top-down view, isn't it?
No, it's like it doesn't look as crisp as what you're doing. It's more like you're watching on a tablet. It's a time lapse of you doing it, and I think that might have been there, but it's really cool, and it's just a neat way to appreciate what you did. So that's
It reminds me a lot of Splatoon, like when you finish a battle in Splatoon, and it kind of shows you how everything's splattered around, and then it gives you the kind of final at the end. That's very satisfying to see the lapse, how it goes.
So that is an update on Power Wash Sim. If you are watching this live, come back on Monday night at 10:30 p.m. Central, where Chase and I will play through that in co-op. So that'll be a good time. The other game that I've been really interested to talk to you all about, and I know that we've teased it quite a bit on our July preview, is arguably my most anticipated game from July that came on the 28th, which is Bear and Breakfast. I have recorded a quick look for this, and I streamed this on Friday night. But this is the slice of life, very cute bear simulator where you are a property manager, multiple properties actually, and you are crafting and upgrading your property and trying to bring in the best guests you can from a payout and a reputation standpoint. There are some story beats that take place with it, and I find this game to be pretty good, and it's got a great charm to it. I really like the art style, and I find the way that they have designed the game, I guess I was thinking that this is going to be a bit more freeform, where it's like build out your building completely and you will then get to decide how you want to run your B&B here. But the game is really a series of towns that each have building or buildings that have been abandoned, that you will go and jump, just like in Animal Crossing. Hey, go grab these parts and resources and we'll build it for you. So like each time you come into a new area, you're going to meet some new people there. Then they're going to be like, okay, there's a motel and a diner in this town. You need to go do these things. And there's a service that works, that basically goes and runs. It's supposed to be like Airbnb, but because you're using like garbage and stuff like that, because you're a bear, it's called Pawn Voyage, which is a pretty great name for
pretty good. That's pretty good
for the service. But once you do that, they'll have basically quest lines, and as you're doing it, like each time you build a property, like you're going to get a series of quests that will be, hey, you need to have 2 guests stay at the same time and both give you a good rating. And what I really think is interesting is as they're taking you throughout the game, they're going to introduce like core concepts on how you're being rated and what that would look like. So when you first start the game, there's going to be 2 categories that also will raise your prestige level. And as you raise your prestige level, you unlock new blueprints that let you craft better variations of things that would be in there, from like bedding to armoires and stuff like that. So the first 2 things that you encounter are going to be on a comfort level and also on a decorative level. And you have complete free reign on how you decorate and build out. In here, they give you a tool bench outside of each property, and you will unlock a series of rooms that are based off of hygiene, comfort, specialization. And they're going to say at the top when you click on it, hey, this minimally needs to be a bedroom has to be 2x3 on a grid, and it requires a door and a bed. And once you do that, it costs you 60 coins. Have at it, and then you can put whatever you want into it. So at a bare minimum level, not bear as in...
Nope, I get you. Oh, I'm writing that down. Thank you.
At a bare minimum level, you can have a bed and a door, and that's going to give you a decoration score, and it's also going to give you a pretty low one. So you open up your guest book, and every morning you have to pick what guests you're going to bring into your property. And there's going to be certain things where it's like, this guest requires a score level of 5 on comfort and a score level of 7 on decoration. And if you have decorated and done your room up, you might exceed it, which then it's going to even boost stats up higher for you. Then you're going to have special guests that like, hey, they only travel to like see decoration. You need to have like a level 20 decoration in this room. So you can throw a bunch of shit in there and like really try and bring them in. They're going to have a bigger payout. Also, like some people might be there for a day, 2 days. There's a really cool game in itself just with that. And I think that's really fascinating.
When you say decoration level, is that based on just the amount of decorations, or are there specific decorations that are worth more points? Or is there even like an Animal Crossing system where it's like, hey, these 2 items kind of go together. If you put them together in a room, you get bonus points for like having a set in there?
I haven't seen that yet, but certain rooms require certain items to be into it. So you're going to have a base score based off of just like, hey, this room. So like when you start off, it's a level 1 bedroom, and you're going to unlock a blueprint that introduces like 2 new pieces of furniture that kind of create a set in that room. It's not required, but if you put those 3 in there together, like you get this kind of base level for what that level 2 bedroom would be.
Sure. Like, oh, hey, this is a bathroom. You have to have a sink and a toilet.
Yep.
And those are like base decorations. Okay, I see.
So your building cost is a currency that's just coin, and you get that from guests. The other one is you're picking up garbage, like literal garbage, and they're called valuables because there's a raccoon that runs a thrift store of its dumpster. Sure. And that's where you get
that's pretty good.
It's great. And that's where you get to buy your decorations. So like, hey, this painting is worth 5 valuables, but it's going to give you a decoration score of 2. And so you can start to add up what your decoration score could be based off what you put in there. So it's how much shit can you fit in there and get the point level you want. So it's not like you've created this gilded golden nightstand. Like, of course it might do something, but it's not like a rare item. It's basic math on how you want to play it out. Now, the other thing would be then, like when you get to the motel space, they introduce the hygienic room. So you have hygiene, which is a bathroom. That's a 3x3. And they can make them bigger than that, or that's just a base for it. And some guests are going to require that. So you could do kind of like that old school New York apartment where you just build a bunch of bedrooms to optimize space and put like a central bathroom. Or what I do is like, I'm going to do essentially like a 3x3 in the motel and just have this 3x6 grid with a door on the wall in between them and have a bathroom en suite. And I do like the exact same layout for all those. So I can consistently say like, I've got this score in the motel across the board, and I can just shuffle in people each night at that score and like have kind of like a sustained income. It's really fucking cool. It's really my type of thing. I think this is a great game for people who enjoyed the like home decor elements of Animal Crossing. Like this is more gamifying that, which is fun. It's not nearly as pretty or as intense or like what that would be for like making your own home, but it is a really cool concept, and you're meeting some really funny characters. The writing's pretty witty. There's other things that you can do around properties to make quality of life improvements. So bus stations, when you find them, it's going to be like, hey, this requires all this material in a bus sign, and once you put that on there, you can fast travel. So there's fast traveling between those areas, which is great. I haven't unlocked this yet, but you're going to be able to hire on property managers that I think will help you, from my understanding, kind of determine like they'll just keep the guests coming in and out for you, and you can kind of set what you're looking for, and they'll manage your property. Everybody's animals. It's awesome.
Good.
Okay. No, I met. Sorry, there was a park ranger named Oliver, but so far your best friend, you've got a really sassy little bird friend. There is a cat, a raccoon. You've met a couple mice, which are really fun. There's an alligator witch in the swamps, and they're all right.
Nothing more fun than mice. Everybody has a good time.
Exactly.
But I'm having a really good time with it. It's $20. They put out their biggest and first patch so far. So it is their biggest. This is their first one, but they put out a pretty big patch this morning, addressing some issues that people have had, just like quality of life. One thing I think is interesting that I'll just wrap up with, I got clipped into a wall, and I don't know what I had done to like remember this. I was looking at like the release and the patch notes for the game, and they're like, oh yeah, hey, there's a button in the pause menu that looks like your bear in a cobweb. If you click on it, we'll get them unstuck from like a clipped surface. And so like I think that they just kind of did that to get the game delivered, and they've since gone through and done it. But I clicked and it's like, hey, give us 60 seconds. We're going to find out where Hank is and get him unstuck. And then like after 45 seconds, the screen just goes black, and then I'm like 5 feet away from where I was and right back to it. So
that's good.
I could see both of you having an enjoyment for this. I think Chase, you would probably enjoy this game. I think.
So you're playing this on PC, right?
I am playing this on PC.
Do you know where else this is available?
On Switch?
Not yet.
It
was originally planned to launch on Switch day and date, and they put out an announcement like a few days prior to launch, and they were just
so like, hey, we can't even get Hank unstuck yet. Like the Switch version's going to have to wait just a bit.
Well, so this is kind of wild. They were just very unsatisfied with how the game played with the gamepad. And so even on PC right now, there's no gamepad support. It's only mouse and keyboard. They are going to launch everything on Switch and all that whenever they get the gamepad stuff ironed out. I have not gotten a timeline from them on what that looks like, but it will be on Switch. And I have not tried to play it on my Steam Deck yet in its current variation. I think once
if it doesn't have gamepad support, that's probably not going to be very fun.
Yeah, but like I've played some games where the joystick is just your WASD, and then you can just use the trackpad. And there's not a lot of input required for this, so I think that could, in theory, work. I'll probably test it out tomorrow and see. But that's Bear and Breakfast coming to Switch. Gonna get gamepad support at some point. $20 on PC only right now. Pretty damn good time. And cool. I've played one other thing, but I'll wait for Johnny to kick it off, and I'll chime in there.
Okay. Let me just get multiverses out of the way real quick.
People are. I cannot get over how popular this game is.
I think this game is good. I think it
that
might be
seems
good.
to be what everybody's saying.
And I know
what seemed to be a cash grab is actually okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably still that too. But
it can be both.
It can be both. But I know I had no interest in this. I was like, oh, good, another Smash clone. Those have always succeeded. And I think of all the ones that I've tried, which I played a little bit of the Nickelodeon one that was on PlayStation Plus.
Did you play Brawlhalla?
No, I never did. Actually, the Nick one and Multiverse is maybe the only two that I've ever tried of the Smash clones.
Yeah.
Because if I want to play a game like that, I'm just gonna play Super Smash Brothers, right?
I played some of the PlayStation
All Stars
one. It was okay.
Chase is holding out for that.
It played fine. It just didn't feel
Gundam platform brawler.
Yeah. So.
Platform fighter is what they call it.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is a free-to-play platform brawler.
It's still technically in beta, right?
I mean, they're letting you pay them up to $100 for various founders packs.
Anybody will let you pay.
It doesn't say early access anywhere on the Steam page.
What are you paying for? When you do pay for things, what are you actually paying for versus what is free? Are all the characters free to begin with, or are you actually
not all the characters? No. So there are a handful of characters that you have unlocked from the get-go. Right now, if you get in early, they give you Wonder Woman, and then Superman, and Garnet from Steven Universe is unlocked from the get-go, and I feel like there's one other one. Shaggy's not unlocked, but there can be local multiplayer, and then there's online multiplayer, which is all I've done so far. So I've done the default mode that they have is a 2v2 of teams, and you pick your character, and then it match makes, and then you play the match. And
can multiple people be the same character?
I've not encountered that yet.
Okay.
But the character I played the most with is Wonder Woman. She's the one I've had the most success with, and it actually tells you which class the characters are. So Superman is heavy or tank. Wonder Woman is more of a brawler, which I thought was interesting because each one has like a shield or a sword. And it's, I don't know, like I went into it thinking it was going to be bad, and then I started it, and next thing I know, I played it for an hour and was having a pretty good time with it.
I hear Bugs Bunny is OP.
I haven't unlocked Bugs yet.
But they fixed Taz.
To unlock characters, they do have a currency that you're earning as you play the game. And they also have a premium currency. This is, like any free-to-play game that you'd expect. Or if you buy one of those Founders packs, I think it gives you all 15 characters.
There's they just announced, IGN tweeted like 20 minutes ago there is a new battle pass, like a premium battle pass that's going to be going live, or it just went live. It's like $10, I think, is what it costs. It's 1,000 Gleamium. It's got 50 tiers to it, and it looks like you might get, like, there's a picture I'm seeing here for an Arya Stark skin that you're going to get.
Yeah, it's so weird to have all these different characters together in a game like this.
LeBron James is in it now, right?
LeBron James is in it. Bugs Bunny, Shaggy, Finn from Adventure Time, Jake from Adventure Time, Steven Universe characters, Gandalf is going to be in
Warner
it.
Brothers has so much. Like
we
talked to this
as a joke about all the different things they own and could show up here.
It's nuts.
It is, and
Joaquin Phoenix's The Joker could come into this game if they wanted it to.
Oh no!
You hear that, Mare?
It's as far as how the game actually plays. I mean, you're looking at mostly the same, like, you know, over A, down A. You can charge attacks. There's a dodge. They have a special and normal attack. You know, it's what you would expect from one of these. But it seems like they're focusing more on the technical side of it because they ain't got items, and that's, like, I've never been a super serious Smash player. Like, I enjoy playing with the items. That's part of the appeal to me. Is it's not like a fighting game. It's, you know, it's chaotic and there's stuff happening. And, you know, if someone really wants to play without items, I will. But I prefer to play with items on because I just think it's more fun. I was doing pretty well with Wonder Woman. I don't know. Do you guys have any other questions? I mean, it is that. It's the thing that you think it is, but it's better than you probably thought it was going to be. That's how I would.
I don't even have to do Smash, and, like, I know that's a well done Smash game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not quite my tempo.
Not quite your tempo. Yeah. Chase. This is
going to make me hate Whiplash, and that's going to make me so sad when
I've never even seen Whiplash.
Look, Chase, we just think it's neat, okay?
It's a really good movie.
This is deck verified. I played around earlier tonight. Plays pretty well in there. I would like for you to check this out and give me your opinion.
I should. The thing is,
I'll download it on the deck right now.
As much as I enjoy Smash, I haven't even played Smash for maybe a year. Like, there are Smash characters that have been announced that I was like, oh, cool, and then never played with them.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a new kind of Smash out there that I care about even less, even if it is good.
It was there, and I downloaded it.
I get it totally. I mean, if it's free to play, then even all the better.
But yeah, I don't need to dwell too much on that. It's cool. I will probably keep checking in with it every once in a while because I did have fun when I played it. But
I'm sorry. Like, we always talk about anime when for my games because that's what I'm into. I'm sorry. Let's get back to your real games though. Like, you guys would never put up with such.
Guys, I am in love with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Or Xenoblade, sorry. I had a moment last night. I was sitting in bed with my wife. She'd fallen asleep. I was playing on my Switch. And I got to this boss battle. And an insanely crazy thing happened. And then another thing happened. And then something else happened after that. And it took all of my willpower to not. I felt like those moments when I would watch Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid. You know, like the fights when Gohan finally went Super Saiyan, when Goku finally went Super Saiyan, mostly involving people going Super
Saiyan. Spoilers.
To varying levels. And I was so hyped up during this part. And it's like 10 hours into the game, and they're already giving me these moments where I'm like, yes! And it's so good. And I can't say anything without spoiling it, but it will be something I talk about come Game of the Year time. And the game is so I played, as you'd love to joke about, I have played the first one of these for like 15 hours.
You have not played the first one. You played the second one, right?
No, I played the first one.
No, he played the first one.
They put a remaster out, and I think the problem with that is just, I don't know, it did feel a little old. Like I could tell it was a Wii game. And this one, it's running on the Switch, but it looks really nice, I think, for being a game running on such aging hardware. What? Don't make that face. Bobby's it looks so much better on PC.
He's gonna get his. Don't worry. Keep going, Johnny.
With the limitations that they have to work with, and I think things like draw distance, just being out in the world and seeing how grand and vast and just far-reaching everything is, it strikes all those good JRPG notes. And I like the characters that are in your party. I think that the setting is an interesting one. So the whole premise is there are these two nations that are at war, that have always been at war, is kind of how it's implied. And they are, I don't know if they're clones or how they're being bred, but there's basically these, tell me if you've heard this before in an anime, there are these child soldiers, but
they have a 10-year life cycle.
They have a 10-year life cycle, and
okay.
At the end of that life cycle, they get a homecoming where you have someone called an offseer who plays on a flute, and it's this whole thing, and it carries their spirit away, and that life force gets soaked up by this giant mech-looking thing that has what's it called? It's a something clock.
Fire clock.
Something, a flame clock.
Yeah.
And it's just war all the time. Like they're always
getting
battling.
some really good things for the AMAs on Monday nights. Really good things.
Now hang on here, Johnny. So that's Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I think Bobby had a secret game on his list that he wanted to mention. He was going to until after you went.
Sorry, so Bobby. Go ahead.
Bobby, so let me just make sure the folks at home know. Bobby, the man who doesn't like anime. Bobby, the man who doesn't like the Switch. Bobby, what's the secret third game that you've been playing?
I'm playing Xenoblade 3, baby.
God damn it.
And you know what?
What happened to you, man?
I hung out with you for too many Mondays.
But I'm not playing this game.
And that is probably one of the biggest crimes you've committed. This is a damn good game. So I'm not as far as Johnny is, but I had some really big moments happen for me where you kind of get to know your character and other characters more intimately, and the way that they do this introduction I thought was handled just really well. Like it felt like the weight of the battles and the cutscenes being interwoven with some of the controlled stuff that you were doing, just like it was a really cool moment. But I didn't know much about the series before that, and quite frankly, like I just went off of what we watched on our preview episode, and then I've had Johnny and Jason in my ear. I knew that you had like I guess like an appreciation is probably what I would use here, Chase, but not necessarily like a lot of firsthand experience.
So I played.
It's the combat system, right? That's what.
It's partly that. I don't think I gave this franchise a very good shake, because the time that I played it, I played Xenoblade Chronicles 1, but I played the 3DS version that was only available for the new 3DS, which is not a great way to play a very grand JRPG like this, a 3D JRPG like Xenoblade Chronicles is.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I did not like its very MMO style combat, and it just turned me off, and I wasn't liking the way it looked. I didn't like anything about it, so I just kind of put it aside. I went, I guess this isn't for me. There have been enough people who clamored over Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for the Switch. The ones with the big titty anime ladies. And people just kept saying, "Oh, these games are great. You really need to try them." And I broke down at one point and bought Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but just never found the time to play it.
It lives in that special folder on your Switch?
It really... Oh, yeah. And I think that's really my problem. Even hearing you guys talk about Xenoblade Chronicles 3, hearing other people say that it's really good, as interested as I would be in playing that, there's a part of me that goes, well, I mean, you already own the second game and haven't played it. You should just try that before you jump into the third game. I don't know if I'm going to hold to that. At the moment I am, because I have other games that I'm playing currently. But if you guys keep saying good things about this game, I could see myself breaking down and giving it a shot. But Bobby, I'm more interested in hearing about your thoughts, because this is all pretty brand new to you.
Yeah. And I don't want to take away from what because Johnny's having a great time, and like I'm right there with him. Like I'm really enjoying what I'm playing, and I do think that the Switch is showing its age here. And what I mean by that is that this is a game that has these really epic landscapes where there's going to be gigantic robots in the distance, and at times you're going to have these really jagged cliffs that come across, and this game would look fantastic, like in a higher resolution, a higher frame rate. All that being said, mechanically it plays very well on the Switch, and the combat is, it took me a minute. I was pretty jarring at the beginning, and I'm at a point now where I am controlling a different party member for the first time. And what I think is going to happen is that I will, because the game has a pretty big onboarding from what I'm picking up.
Yeah.
Once I get through this onboarding, I will be able to switch at any given moment between my party. And I think that's going to just be a really amazing feeling.
Yeah, that really, really helps with the flow.
Yeah.
And there's a multitude of things that you're introduced because you do auto attack, like your main attack is an auto attack, but then you have your skills, and then you have I can't remember what they call it, but so your art, so you can change classes whenever you want, and each class you can level up, and you can master the skills that you have for that particular class. So if there's one specific skill that you really like from this other class, but you want to switch to something else to level that up, you can pick that move and still use that move.
And it's a really, really cool concept of how they do these moves. So it's a futuristic, like a hyper futuristic game, but it also follows what I would consider like more traditional battle approach, where these are like boots on the ground fights, and it is more sword and shield fighting. But they remind me a lot of the Guardian weapons from Breath of the Wild, where they're going to have like this emitting glow to them. And in my party right now, like you've got that, which I think that this sword's been featured. Like it's a pretty popular sword, I'm pretty sure, from the Xenoblade saga. Like it's just a big ass sword. But
yeah, it's got the blue energy coming up. It's a different, it's not quite the same sword, but
it's
not the Monado.
No, it's not.
There's two things I'll call out that like really stood out to me. I think that's really neat. One of the guys, the kind of tankier guy in my crew, has this giant broadsword that the blade is shaped like a big ass shield, and he just fucking impales the ground, and it creates like the Titan from Destiny bubble shield around everybody, which is really cool.
It also has a gun built into it, which is pretty cool.
When he slams it down, the hilt of the sword, he like smashes it forward, and the handle is a gun barrel. And so then he's using it as a turret with this shield. The one that's I think even cooler is the caster of the group. She's got this big ass fucking mace,
like a staff,
but it's also a rifle.
Yeah.
And so she'll like be doing her things where she's casting, but then she'll kick the bottom of it and like flips around, and she'll like shoot off 3 projectiles. And it's a really great spectacle. So when you're playing the game, that component, you've got one person who's casting these circles with their shield that you're in, and you're going to get a bonus if you're standing in it. And so the game's a lot of freeform movement, which I think is cool. And positioning is going to enhance a lot of how your attacks work. And the game really focuses on this auto attack system that you can cancel out into one of your special combo moves. And that can trigger staggering, which topples, which then goes into a daze state if you know how to synergize your attack flow and like using it with your team. And that's a really great feeling when you get one of these big fucking robots that if you do the combos the right way and you knock it down, then you can do all kinds of crazy damage. And if you do the right types of, if you're canceling the right way, you're increasing your ultimate ability. And all that to be said, as the person who's casting spells, they're going to throw down rings that are going to increase your attack damage. That might overlap with defense. So if you can move your characters around, you can really start to do some pretty interesting strategies for a game that seemingly just looks like an auto battler at times from an MMO. It does use the cooldowns, and this is why I called out earlier when I will be able to switch my party. Like, I kind of see myself going through it when I get to that point, like, okay, attack, and then like do your thing, and while that's cooling down, switch to the next person, kind of do the same thing, and to start to rotate through everybody.
Yeah.
And I think the stories also, for as wild and bodacious as things seem to be, like, it's really compelling, and I'm enjoying the characters in a way that I kind of started to like the characters from Persona as well. Like, it's got a really cool team element.
I really the ensemble cast, and you know, you've got the broody one, you've got this, like, it's, you know, all of these.
When you met the other seer for the first time, and how those characters had like way different abilities, but like you were like, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really, part of me's very, very upset that this is the anime Switch game you decided to play. It's like the finger on the monkey's paw curled. I'm glad that you're liking anime Switch games right now.
Yeah.
I look forward to you getting back to Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE right after you finish this up, once you've been converted.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I'm just excited that this is happening.
It's a cool game, and I think that we're gonna try and do a group quick look.
Sure. I would love to see this game running in person.
Yep. Johnny, I will call this out. I've got like that M Classic adapter for my Switch. I think I've talked about on the show that upscales to 4K, and I've been playing this that way, and it does help quite a bit there. It's like $100 attachment you can get for your Switch and other devices. But all that to be said, I'm excited that you're having a good time with it. I'd actually put down on my July preview, like, I might pick this up, and
you did say that.
I was half joking because I thought that trailer looked really cool, but playing it, I'm having a great time.
Yeah, I'm way into it.
Why don't we just go right to Pokemon news and skip the other stuff?
Great. Yeah, we got a Pokemon Direct this morning. We got about 6.5 minutes of new details on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and
also a bunch of shit that doesn't matter about other Pokemon games.
Yeah, we're not even going to talk about that.
Yeah, when I opened up the event to try and watch it before the show, I was like, wait a second, is this an older one? And I was like, oh no, they're just like, they're updating all the Pokemon.
Mewtwo got added to Pokemon Cafe Mix. Don't you care?
No.
Don't you love that?
This is a pooper only show, okay? It's pooper or bust.
I like this this frame we've got here on the stream. Yeah, so we got a pretty good look at what's Paldea, or is it Paldea?
Paldea.
It's Paldea.
Paldea. And from the way they talked about it, it seems like the legendary Pokemon in these are more of a companion that you get seemingly pretty early in the game, because they act as a mount.
I wonder if these are similar to the ride Pokemon you'd get in like Sun and Moon and Beyond.
Yeah.
In that, like, hey, yeah, you've got these things. They're not your Pokemon, but you can use them. I mean, they're the box legendaries. At some point, you'll get them in your party, but I imagine there's going to be like some balanced way to say you don't actually get to use these things right away, maybe you have to earn their trust or
it
something
reminds me,
before you can start using them.
It reminds me a lot of how you navigated Arceus.
Yeah.
Where you would have those, because like you would get those, essentially you had a Pokemon that could swim, run, climb, and then fly. And from what I'm seeing in the trailer, it looks like this legendary is just your vessel for exploring this open world.
Yeah.
And
it's a motorcycle.
Yeah, I do agree.
One of them's a motorcycle. The other one's the dumbest fucking motorcycle ever.
Because it's got legs.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It has wheels. It has legs.
It has wheels.
It has wheels, and it doesn't use them.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
That's very silly.
I get that one's like a bike and one's like a motorcycle, but all this fucking Flintstones ass weird shit of you have wheels and you're using your fucking feet. God damn it.
Yeah. And we also learned it's going to have 4-player co-op.
God damn, that's awesome.
Which is really exciting.
We knew about the co-op. They expanded it a little bit on what that entails exactly. They showed off raid battles. Raid battles are coming back from Sword and Shield. There's we also saw the new gimmick, which we're seeing right now, or saw a little bit of, where it's not Gigantamaxine or Dynamaxine. Tetra. It's these Tetra. I'm just going to keep calling it crystallized because that's the way I think of it. But there are these gem Pokemon. You're able to like turn your Pokemon into like a gem version of it. And the gimmick here is that when you do these Tetra, whatever the hell's, it can change the Pokemon's type. And it's not just one version. It's not just, hey, my Pikachu's electric type and I can switch to a water type. It's, you could find maybe a water type Pikachu version or a flying type Pikachu version. And you can get these different kinds of Tetra evolution things that sounds kind of cool from a competitive or a battling standpoint, especially when you have something like a Pikachu. Hey, this thing's an electric type, and I can swap it to its flying type. So if somebody tries to use Earthquake on it, now it doesn't it doesn't affect it at all. And I think it's supposed to gain some new moves when it does that as well. So I can see that being kind of interesting. And these raid battles are where you find these, I guess, rare versions of the Tetra style Pokemon. So when you do these raid battles together, hey, you can find the rare Pikachu that does the flying type instead of a different Pikachu that might do a water type or something like that.
One of the things I found interesting is that they really pitched like, hey, there's three big things to do in this game. One would be the traditional, you're going to fight the 8 gym leaders, you're going to go down Victory Road, and you can do that however you want to do it, whenever you want to do it.
Any order.
Which so I think is interesting.
I assume they'll scale.
Based off of,
scale, probably some stuff will evolve depending on how many badges you have.
Yeah.
That could be kind of cool. And
then they didn't really elaborate, at least in the trailer, if I recall, like what the other two things would be in great detail. Maybe I missed it, but
if it's like previous Pokemon games, I bet one is about catching them all or catching everything that you can, and one's about some story thing that probably involves an evil team of some sort.
Yep.
Yeah. So
if I had to guess.
Why is everyone horny for these new Pokemon professors?
It's not just the professors.
Look,
people are horny for everything. The one that got me is they've shown off one gym leader, this ice looking gym leader, and
right there.
Like originally, I think people thought it was a girl, but it's actually just kind of a Twinkie guy. So you've got a bunch of like fan artists who are like, "Oh, I gotta draw this thing with like some boobs on it and make a lewd version." And then people are like, actually, that's a dude.
Look, you all can be horny about those, but I'm looking at Pooper right now, and I'm thinking
that's yeah. So Paldea and Wooper, I was texting Johnny while this thing was happening, and it's like, I think I saw like because they do like a flyover, and I saw this like little brown Woopery looking thing, but you only see it for a split second. And I'm like, did I just see like a regional variant of a Wooper? And then as I was texting him that, then they were like, here's Paldea and Wooper. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, buddy. God damn. one of the best Pokemon ever is getting a new version.
So what does Quagmire?
Yeah, that's my question, because Quagsire's water ground. This thing is brown and muddy, and I'm guessing it's going to start as ground. You think like ground poison? I can see ground poison.
They said that it's got a layer of poison on its body.
Okay, I think that tracks for like what an axolotl does, or maybe like more of a salamander-y kind of thing.
Yeah,
that could work. I can see that.
Do you think so? Really quick pulse check on the starters. Final evolution. How many of them are going to be bipedal? At least one.
I would just prefer not to have another firefighting final evolution.
I think that's what you're going to. I think it's going to be fire ghost.
Always firefighting.
I bet they'll all be bipedal. I think somebody did say there was a leak that came out that said all these starters are going to have the same final types as the Legends Arceus ones. So that would be the Fire Ghost for the Arceus Typhlosion. It was Grass and Fighting.
It was Grass and Fighting, yep.
And then it was Water and Dark?
Yes.
What was that Samurai? Yeah, Water Dark.
I think
that's what a leak said, is like they were kind of testing out those typings in Legends Arceus, and now they're going to
Ghost Pepper is kind of what they're going with, I think, for the fire one here, which makes a lot of sense.
Which makes sense. Yeah, sure. Why not?
You guys have a favorite amongst the starters?
I mean, I usually go with the fire starter anyway. I think Fuecoco looks kind of cool, so I'm going to go with him.
Yeah. I typically go for water ones, but the water starters in the last two have just been okay, in my opinion. Like, look-wise.
Not a Sobble man.
What's that Pompadour gonna do for Quaxley? I want to know.
I just hope it gets bigger.
Yeah.
Like I wanted this to end up with like some Guile hair.
That'd be cool. We did get a release date November 8th.
Gull. What if it was like a gull, but it was Guile, something like that?
It's November 18th. A few things to just mention here. I don't have all the details, but there's a lot of bonuses right now for how you buy these games. If you pre-order it, you do get a variant Pikachu, a Crystal Pikachu. If you buy,
goes to flying. I believe.
Yes.
So they're and it gets like when these crystal versions all have like hats, and I think the hats are kind of what tells you what type they are. So the Pikachu one has balloons, like the flying Pikachu that you've seen in Pokemon cards and things like that.
They are doing the double pack again. If you pre-purchase this, it has the fly ability. I just showed it here on screen. The double pack, I know, gets you 100 types of balls, and you get a couple different codes for something for Pokemon that you get one for each of the games. And they do have the double pack digitally this time around as well. So some cool stuff there to take in.
I think I may have pre-ordered the double pack. I don't remember.
I think I'm probably going to do a digital double on this one, and especially with the co-op stuff, because Sarah and I have family shares saved up or turned on, and technically we could both be playing at the same time that way, because I'll have 2 copies of the game, and then she could hop in there with us. But I'm excited. Like, look, I really liked Arceus this year. It's been one of my favorite Pokemon experiences that I've had, and the idea that I could play a mainline Pokemon game with you guys sounds really cool.
Yeah,
it does. I think that's what's really pulling me through. I know we liked Sword and Shield at the time. I believe it was our second favorite game of that year, behind Fire Emblem, and we were kind of back and forth on which one we really liked the best. And then all of our opinions of Sword and Shield went pretty far down around the time of that DLC.
Yeah, the DLC was not great.
It wasn't, and I think it made me look back at the main game and go, was that really that great either? And I'm not saying I'm disillusioned with Pokemon, but I don't don't necessarily love the direction they've gone in these last couple of games.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah, so the idea of, hey, at least we can play this together is cool to me, but also I am so spoiled for the kind of Pokemon that I like when I think about all the different ROM hacks that I can play, when I think about all the different like not ROM hacks, but just fan games that people are making. Then you also have official releases of things like Koromon and Temtem
Yep.
and Ooblets. Like, there are so many Pokemon style games that are more traditional Pokemon than even Pokemon is, or modern Pokemon is, that I'm kind of happy with both at this point. I'm happy to try this out and play around, and yes, this is the official one, and I can use my Pokemon home monsters or whatever, but I also know that if I do want that, if I'm itching for that original kind of Pokemon experience, there's so many things that are satisfying me as well. I don't need Game Freak to keep making the Pokemon that I like.
I think Temtem is really gonna stick the landing for you, because I
hope so.
It feels, in my opinion, outside of just like the cool designs, because like there's some good ones in there, but like the Pokemon designs are good, but everything else about Temtem, to me, this is where the series should have been by now. Like, it's such a modern realization. The quality of life stuff is there. It still honors that traditional Pokemon that we grew up on, but it brings in like a seamless multiplayer. If you want to do a co-op throughout the entire story, the 2v2 battles are really cool from like a strategy standpoint. It's neat.
The 2v2 stuff, I get that it's more strategic. It's never been my preferred way of playing these kinds of games, so I was kind of happy that it never turned into the main thing for Pokemon. I know it's the way to play competitive Pokemon these days is they're always double battles, which, again, I get. The more strategy there, it makes sense, but that's kind of the one thing about Temtem that I'm like, want everything to have to be a fucking double battle. I'd like to just do some single stuff because that's fun.
There are.
That's what I feel. But, okay.
There are single battles in there too.
Okay.
Well, anything on final thoughts for Pokemon, or should we wrap this show up?
I mean, we're all still getting it, right? Nobody has turned off.
Yeah.
So
November will be a God of War and Pokemon month. All right. So I want to start off really quick by saying I did not get our quick look published on Tuesday. I have not tweeted anything out for this, but our Undergrave quick look is live on our YouTube channel. I've just had a hell of a week at work, and I've been pretty buried in some work stuff to where I have not been able to stay on top of my edits this week and getting that stuff done. But having said that, you can go and watch that Undergrave quick look right now. I'll tweet that out alongside the next one. But we played Into the Breach. We got a 3-island victory. I say this with no surprise to anybody, but that's a good video game. Continues to be a good video game.
You should tell 2018 Bobby that.
Well, there was a better video game. But Into the Breach, we streamed that on Monday. We teased it earlier. We're going to be coming back next Monday with Power Wash Simulator. Undergrave quick look is up. Tonight was a fun episode of What You've Been Playing. We got a quick look for Bear and Breakfast that will be going up, and then Friday night at least one friend of the show, maybe two, maybe three, will be joining us again for some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC. And at the time of this recording, which is August 3rd, right before midnight, you will be able to 2 minutes away. I think the 4th, sometime in the morning, is when they unlock those new courses, and we're gonna dust those off as well as some of the other ones on Friday night for a little Mario Kart party here at the Casual Hour. If you want to follow along,
are we doing a gentleman's agreement that none of us are playing the new courses until Friday, or are we good to do a little practice? I'm fine either way.
I was not planning on playing anything until Friday, just because I'm playing.
Neither was I.
A really fun anime game right now, but
sure.
I
I'm going to just test to make sure I have them and they work.
Okay.
But I'm not going to do a full race of any of them. I'll probably just start one and then stop.
Yeah.
But I believe you're going to probably be the host again. So I have to imagine.
I will host, and if memory suits. No, that was when we did Wii. That's when we did Switch Sports.
I might have been the host for Mario Kart. It doesn't matter. Either way it works. I think you only need one person to host it, and everybody else can play.
Yeah, you all did not share your screen for that. You shared your video with me for bowling, and Johnny shared his screen, I think, for bowling. But I think for this one, are we going to be on camera? Because the three of us were on camera the last time we did it. You don't have to be.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I think I could probably start that.
Okay, so either way, somebody hosts it. We'll have everybody come and hang out. That's going to be a really fun time. That'll be this Friday. And the next week, so Johnny, this is going to be your last, Friday will be your last time on camera for 10 days.
His last show.
Show forever. We've got some stuff planned. We're going to see if we can get a couple chairs filled for the next 2 episodes. And then our casual Friday stream, I've got a plan to go solo, but Chase might chime in and hang out with me a little bit. But I think we're going to be checking out next week the Cult of the Lamb that drops from Devolver.
Yeah.
So I'll be playing that on stream Friday night, and can't wait. That demo is fucking awesome. So looking forward to playing more of that. Chase, what do you got going on? What's new with you?
Nothing. You know what? I've been moving more boxes, as you can see. So at this point, you don't need to check out my other things. I'm not updating them at the moment. They'll get updated once I get moved into the new house, which should be within the next month or so. So I'll talk about the other things that I do once I'm actually back and doing them. So for now, just keep watching the Casual Hour.
Sounds great. We will be back Friday night with some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC Wave 2, I think is the mouthful for that. And play something new. Follow along on any of our channels that you can. And take care. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Yeah.